Hello, Stanley.
Good morning, Hank. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be 90?
About the same way it felt to be 89.
Yeah, me too.
I went out on my 90th birthday and sang at a karaoke bar.
Oh, wonderful. You don't have your chorus to back you here in California, huh?
You don't what?
You don't have the chorus to back you here in the mainland.
No, that's no different. I've sung solos for years.
Yeah. My first wife was active in Sweet Adelines, which you're probably familiar with them. They were
Yes. Yes.
quartet singing largely, but they had a chorus.
They've sort of merged. The Barbershop Harmony Society changed its policy
Really? Okay.
about 5 years ago, and choruses can now be either all men or all women or mixed, still be part of the Barbershop Harmony Society.
I see. Very good. Sort of like a Toastmasters, which originally was male only. And then my second wife was active in ITC, which was I don't know whether you'd call it a sister organization, but was supported by Toastmasters to put the ladies in their place. So they had their own Toastmasters type organization, and they called it ITC for International Training and Communications.
That's interesting. I've been to a couple of Toastmasters meetings.
Yeah.
Years ago. I discovered that I was pretty good at public speaking at one point. After 20 years of being absolutely terrified.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm sure you. I never got into it, but with affiliation with my wife, I did pick up a few pointers on parliamentary procedure, which of course they're very strong on dealing with parliamentary procedure. That's part of their ritual, I guess. Morning, Saul.
Morning.
Oh, shush. Hello? Robocall. Will Wakely made the suggestion for today's subject, but he's not going to be here today.
Well, it's subject that a lot of us have a little experience with anyway.
Well, he can watch the recording Hank's making later on.
I don't think he needs needs to do that.
Oh, well, I thought maybe that's why he suggested the topic.
No, I think he was just trying to help me find some topic that might have enough interest to be worth a Saturday morning. Although, yeah, no, we still got 10 minutes or so to go to see whether we get some more people.
Would you like me to assist as a co-host?
Yeah, I'll do that
Okay.
shortly. I'm just poking around doing something else right now.
Just Google speed test, and I got a different one that I hadn't seen before. And it's quick, fast, gives me a little bit more information, and says nice words about my connection. So it's a lot simpler than some of the others, and it doesn't even have, boy, it's got a long URL, and it's just under google.com/search.
What is this you're talking about, Stan?
Speed test.
Oh,
While we were waiting, I just went to the Google homepage and searched speed test, and this was at the top of the list, or in the top 5 anyway.
So which site is doing the speed test?
Well, that's what's confusing, because the URL that gave me the speed test is google.com/search. And the whole, like 64 characters of garbage. So I don't know what site is doing that test.
It doesn't identify itself?
No, it doesn't. I can share a screen if you like, but
No, it's just apparently, I would think if somebody's proud of what they're doing, they'd put their name on it,
well, that's what I thought too.
And if they don't, and they're trying to be sneaky and maybe do stuff they shouldn't be doing, maybe that's why they're hiding it.
Well, that could be. That's why I offered to share a screen to show what I got.
I'll wander through this, including what you're showing, I think, Stan,
Okay.
after I end to that.
Yeah, I think the standard ones like speedtest.net are pretty well known and respected. And I don't know why you would necessarily want to go somewhere else. I mean, Cox, I know, has their own. Many of the ISPs have their own tests. Probably AT&T has one for themselves. But as far as generic ones, I would think the speedtest.net is straightforward.
Yeah, the one thing that I lack on speed test it doesn't give me any editorial. Well, I guess I should rephrase it. What I liked about this speed test, it gave me a little editorial comparison of what that speed means and what I should be able to do with it. And which is something I don't get from the others, which is fine. But anyway, that's just why I was impressed by it. That's all. Hi, Marty.
Hi. So I needed to ask, when I want to leave the meeting and, everybody's still talking and they're doing, what am I supposed to say?
You did very well. Thank you, Marty. You just have to come in and say hi and say, what am I supposed to say? Somebody will tell you.
When I want to leave, I just want to leave, but I don't want to interrupt anything.
You could wave goodbye.
Okay.
You could wave goodbye. If you really feel so inclined, you can put in the chat that you're leaving
Okay.
and say some nice words about me and stuff like that.
So I looked at Hank's tips on Zoom. So now I have a background.
Oh, wonderful. Great.
Good.
Yeah, it was a great presentation.
I hope it was helpful.
It was very good.
I'm looking for other subjects from people like you, things you don't know about your computer that you would like to know, or things that you don't know that you don't know.
Right.
If you have any suggestions, just send me an email or,
Oh, okay. I have ideas, so I will.
yeah, I would appreciate that. I'm always looking for subjects for Saturday.
And you might have it already. I just, I looked, one thing I looked at was organizing your photos. That is a real problem.
Yeah, that has changed a lot. I have the most extensive thing I think I have in the index is, oh gosh, I've even forgotten what it was called. What was that thing that for photos, everybody?
I'm using Google Photos.
Yeah, that's now, but before that, there was something else which has actually disappeared.
Photoshop Elements was the one that I was using. Elements was the amateur version of Photoshop PS, I think they called it.
Google used to have a product they purchased called Picasa. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Yes, that was it.
And Stan, we're picking up background noise periodically from you, so you might want to mute your mic if you're not speaking.
Now we're getting some background noise from, oops, no, I guess not. I thought it was coming from Saul, but he's muted.
No, I think it might have come from Marty, but she just muted. Good morning, Arlene.
Good morning, you all. Another sunny day. We had a visit yesterday from a granddaughter from New Jersey with her family, her husband and two teenagers. Her son Liam was celebrating his 15th birthday. We had a birthday cake, and today they're on to Disneyland.
I celebrated my birthday yesterday too.
Well, happy birthday.
The number was slightly different. I was 90.
Probably. Liam was 15. I suspect you're a little older than 15.
let's see. 75 years older.
Uh-huh. Well, happy birthday anyway.
Thank you.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Miriam.
I'm
I
Mary.
had surgery yesterday and now my arm doesn't hurt anymore.
What doesn't
and-
hurt?
My arm.
Your arm?
I-
Oh,
I think I told you guys, I was in an auto crash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was 2 weeks with a cast or a splint or something, and it was hurting more and more and more. And the surgeon operated yesterday morning, and it hurt when I left the hospital, but now it's wonderful. But I have to wear this thing probably for a couple weeks. And I've got it
What?
propped up on a pillow here.
what did he do? Do you know?
Yes, my radius was broken and it had many, he said when he opened it up, he found many more pieces than he expected. So he has put in a plate that looks like a rake with about 6 tines.
This is your radius, you say? What's the radius?
The radius is one of the, there's 2 bones in your lower arm, the radius and the ulna.
Oh, okay.
And the radius was
Shattered.
a little bit, the top of it, the head of it. And there were more pieces than he expected. At first, we thought it was one piece that just had slid down, but apparently there were more pieces in this little rake, which they gave me the x-ray. So I know what the little rake looks like. It goes down halfway down my arm, but up at the top, it has this rake looking thing that's holding, I guess, all the pieces in place. I don't know. Anyhow, it feels much better. I went for a 1.25 mile walk this morning and I'm doing much better. I'm even hungry again.
Yeah, when you have chronic pain, it affects all sorts of things, including
Right. Yeah, I didn't
Appetite.
realize that, but yeah, now I'm hungry again. So I'm back in business. I don't know how long I'll have to wear something on my arm. And I know I have to go to OT for a while, but my guess is 3 weeks to 6 weeks and then I'll be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, because every time when I broke my radius ulna, every time I went, they extended the time. So,
Oh,
when you
that
first
could
go,
happen.
yeah, when you first go in the ER, they say, oh yeah, you'll be out of here in a month or so. And then you go to the doctor and that's
Yeah.
another, now it's down to 2 months. So it goes on and on. But do you have
Yeah.
somebody there? Can you use is it your right hand? Oh, it's your.
No, it's my left. I'm lucky. I'm
Yes.
very lucky. I have use of my right hand and I'm right-handed. And I went out for breakfast this morning and I could hold a fork like this and cut something.
Wow.
I think I'm doing really great. I
Yeah.
cannot wear my watch. I can get it on, but I can't get it off. So
Right,
can't wear the
right.
watch yet.
So do you have
So,
somebody there that can open things for you, stuff like
Well,
that?
right now I have a childhood friend staying with me. I just spent part of the last week in Wapaka on our annual family, Churchill relative and friends gathering. We take 4 cabins and we go up, and it's in Chain of Lakes of Wisconsin, and it's really pretty there. And so, what was I going to tell you about? What was your question?
So how to open something?
Oh.
If you had help.
Yeah, I have help. Anyway, my childhood friend who comes with me to Wapaka is staying with me until Tuesday, and I only live 6 blocks from my daughter. And there's people in the apartment building where I live who I can call and say, open. We had trouble with the ice maker. The little cover came off and I kept trying to put it on, but I was putting it on backwards. So I called the lady and she came over, she turned it around, shoved it in and left. So yeah, I have some people to help me. The one thing I don't have is use of my car because it's being repaired and because I can't really drive with this thing on my arm. So I'm using Lyft, Friends and Lyft.
Okay.
For your watch, you should try hanging something on a necklace.
Yeah, I thought about hanging it on a necklace, but it's a big watch and it'll be heavy. And I thought, nah, I can learn to use my phone like everybody else.
Yeah, my phone tells me what time it is every time I look at it.
Yeah, my phone tells me too, but my phone, I have to open up. I have a cover on it and
Oh,
it's a little more trouble, but I can use it if I really want to know what time it is.
Okay.
you can't the phone. I have a Fire that's sort of like that has a cover, and if I open the cover and flip it around to the back, it's magnetic and it'll latch on to the other side and leave the face exposed.
Oh, yeah, mine doesn't do, I don't think mine does that. I can turn it over, but it does not stay.
It doesn't.
It's set up so that you can make it a stand for it.
Well, you know, Scotch tape works.
Yeah, Scotch works too. Anyhow, I'm making do. I'm doing pretty good. So I'm not complaining, especially now that it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That's the best part.
Well, we're up to 14. I'm going to let it go for another couple of minutes. It's 10:33. So we'll wait till 10:35 and then I'll start. This is going to be about how to measure internet speed. I'm going to play a short YouTube on that subject, and then I'm going to demo some other ways to measure internet speed and talk about what to do when it isn't speedy. And
Shall we welcome the person labeled as iPhone?
yeah,
Isn't that Alice?
who is, let me see, I'm going to ask them to unmute themselves. So they should see something now that says, please unmute yourself. iPhone, no?
She's talking.
Yeah. Uh,
That's Alice.
That's what I thought, but I'm just saying that
is that Alice?
she might want to say
Yeah.
something that we could hear, which we can't right now because she's muted.
Yeah.
As host, are you not able to unmute her?
No.
No.
That's a privacy violation. Zoom won't allow that. But she could post something in the chat if she wanted to.
I'm posting, or I'm clicking the thing that says ask to unmute. So whoever you are with a picture in the background on the wall, right, you are
We'll try
muted.
addressing her as Alice and see if that works.
Yeah. Alice, is it, if it's you, wave your arm.
Yeah, there it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
Here we go. Okay.
Alice, unmute
Realize
yourself.
Alice, do you realize you're muted?
She may not know how to undo it on the iPhone.
Yeah, on the iPhone. I don't know how you unmute yourself on an iPhone. Saul? You?
Saul's muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't seem
Sorry.
to unmute.
Saul,
Because I was trying to do something else and I can't do it with me muted at the same time in Zoom. Okay. Anyway, I was trying to rename her just to Alice. Anyway, and I will in a moment. But to answer your question, it's like anything on a small screen. I think you're just going to have to swipe somewhere up and down to bring up controls that you can't fit on a screen otherwise, and then select
She's disappeared.
to do it.
Yeah.
She's gone.
okay. Although is it Saul, I find that on most of those things, there's a setting that says always show controls. And whenever I set up for someone, I always turn the always show controls on. That way they can always look at something and poke at it.
Is that on a smartphone? Because I know it is on a computer.
Well, I'm not sure about the phone, but it works on like an Android tablet. I can set it up
Yeah,
to.
tablets are bigger screen. And that's why I'm saying if she's on a phone, that may not be an option.
And she has
She has disappeared.
disappeared. Flown
She's
the
probably
coop.
trying to get her computer to work.
Yeah, maybe she's gonna try a different device. Well, it is 10:37, so I think I will move on. I'm gonna mute you all.
Oh, I finally got on my iPhone because I use the iPhone when you see the other one pop up.
Mm.
And there's really a thing on the bottom that says start video, join. So it's just like what you're looking at here. And you would just have to hit the mute button because the mute button's there too.
And Patricia, you may have your settings on your thing set to always show controls, which is what is how I set people up. But if you're not set up that way, then Saul's right. You have to poke or swipe some way to get the controls to show up.
Oh, I see. So she's not seeing the controls. Yeah, I see all my controls, mute, unmute, start video, share.
Apparently she didn't. She didn't say anything, but her mouth was moving and we couldn't hear her. So, all right, I'm going to proceed with the how to measure your internet speed discussion this morning. Muting you all. There, you are now all muted. And I will share my screen. Let's see. No, that's not the right one. Here we go. How to check your internet speed. We will run that. And then here, I need to get this somewhere else. Okay, that's better. Start that. Screen it.
Hank, we're not hearing any sound.
Whoops, you're not hearing any sound. Sorry, just a minute. Thank you, whoever said that. I didn't click the right thing in share screen. So we'll stop sharing. I think, yes. Now we'll try again. And I will check the boxes down at the bottom. It says share sound. And now let's see if this works. Can you hear now?
Hey everyone, in this video, I wanted to show you how you
Yes.
can check your internet speed using these 3 different tools that I use to check my internet speed. I'll show you my favorite one and I'll show you 2 backup options. And I have Xfinity Comcast internet here.
The volume's a little low.
I'm gonna go ahead and check my internet speed and then I'll go ahead and troubleshoot what the problem is with the slow speed. So the first one is speedtest.net, and this is the beta version. This is the old legacy version. And all you gotta do is go to speedtest.net and it will take you here. It will show your IP here where I'm just blurring mine out, and then go ahead and press go. So right now my internet is running at 5 megabits per second and it should be closer to 75. That's the Xfinity speed that I have my plan here at home. And usually with Xfinity you get somewhere between 50 to 100. With AT&T you'll get closer to 5 to 20 depending on which plan you have, and different service providers obviously have different speed. In City of Chicago, for example, you could get business speeds that are up to 1,000. So if you don't know what your speed should be, most likely it's gonna be higher than this. 5 is really low unless you have DSL, meaning you have the phone connection and you have AT&T through the phone line. that might be okay for a phone line connection, but for me there's obviously some wrong. 75 should be the speed that I should be getting here. So if you get a slow speed like this, you could also do another test. This is the Xfinity test, and this is the Google test. If you just Google test internet speed, but the Google test sometimes seems to be unreliable. For me right now it's showing 35, which is way faster than my internet is right now. Obviously there's an issue. So this is why I use this one first, and then I go down the line to see if the other ones are matching, but this one seems to be the most accurate. Now, if you get a slow connection like this, there's a couple of things that you could do. I'll make a separate video showing all the different things that you need to do. But the most common thing, and the thing I'm gonna do first, is just disconnecting my router from power and then letting 10 seconds go by and reconnecting it. That usually helps bring this back and reset everything. The other option is calling your service provider and they could troubleshoot it for you. And sometimes the speed issue is from their end, from the service provider. So in this case, I will call Xfinity to see what the issue is. And even restarting your browser sometimes, or reconnecting to your internet on your computer, sometimes fixes the problem too. But go ahead with restarting your modem and your router, one of the two or both of them, and see if that solves the problem, and come back here and run the speed test one more time. I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe and press the like button below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
So I'm still sharing, and I'm now going to go and show you what I think Stan was talking about by simply typing in speed test in a Google search. And when I get that, I get something that says, I think this is coming from speedtest.net. And when I click run a speed test, my download speed is about 75. And it does that first, and then it runs the upload speed, which should be about 5 when we're done, or a little less than 5, it's 4. And if you don't like that, you can test again. It's pretty quick. Gets the download speed done in about, what do you suppose that was? 10 seconds. And the upload speed, looks even worse. Yep, 3.8. And the one that Will, who suggested I take this subject up, the one that he uses all the time is Ookla, O-O-K, yeah, O-O-K-L-A speed test. And that is speed test by Ookla. Let's see what happens when I get there. Yeah, there we are. And if I click go, come on, Ookla. Here we go. It's up around 75. Runs a little longer, I think, than the Google speed test. But eventually gets, here we are at about 71. And now it's running the upload, which looks like it's going to end up at 4 point something.
Does it make any difference if, I know, I think it was, I thought Ookla did that speedtest.net too. There was one, I checked about 3 of them. There was one, and I'm not sure if it was this one or not, but, and I don't know if this matters or not, but it wasn't like secure. And the, you know, the browser came up with, this is not a secure site. So I used something else. I'm not sure if it was this one or not. I think it was. But I ended up using speedcheck.org.
Ross has his hand up.
I think Ross might have been scratching his cheek. Oh, no, he has.
Oh, no, I'm just waiting for things to calm down. So yes, the first one that you ran, Hank, is from Google. The next one down was the other source, speed test. But the one I use almost all the time is the one from Google. So you just go to speed test in the Google search and it comes up as it clicks there, does not show a website name. That's straight to Google and do it. They will vary. So to me, I tell people it's like getting up on the freeway and saying you need to drive to LAX. What's the traffic between here and LAX? That's what this test kind of shows, because you'll see that the servers that they chose is one that's some distance away, which is reasonable. But what you need to do is to say, okay, on your bill, on somewhere, you say, I run my test and it comes up with these numbers. And you do that once a week, once a month. And then you come back and say, gee, it seems to be really slow today. And you run the test and see what the numbers are in comparison. On your bill from your internet provider, it'll say this is how fast the speed should be. And within 10 to 20% of those numbers is what you should get on the test. If it's much more than that, you need to call them. They'll say, go to this website and run it. That's what their preferred site is, and come up with the numbers. If it's much different than what they are selling you, then they should come and try to fix it. Now, what they'll always ask is, are you want a wireless or a wired connection? They would rather that you take, say, a laptop or a desktop and plug it straight into their device, not your router, their modem, and then run the test there so that
Whoops.
does vary from time to time during the day. We used to see a big drop off in performance in the early afternoons when the kids got out of school, and now we're on the internet. With pandemic, it's been more constant of sometimes a lower speed because people were working from home, not from their work office. But it's a test that tells you kind of what's going on with your internet connection.
I just want to welcome Alice back, that she is now unmuted.
Thank you. I just have to explain. This is a new experience. My daughter and granddaughter and 2 cats are living with me 2 months because in San Diego, you can't find a place to live when you're evicted and your landlord's selling your place. So anyway, I'm on my second cell phone, and my first one, for some reason, would not. I could hear you guys, but it wouldn't give me the capability of muting. So I went to a different device, and so far it's working, but sorry to cause the confusion, but now I can hear and see. Thank you.
There were some suggestions as to what you might do on that device that.
No, I could hear all that, and I tried it all. Nothing worked. So I just went to another device.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure you got all that input.
Yeah, I did. Thanks.
Fran, you're up.
So I did the test on one site and another site within like 30 seconds difference. And I had like a huge difference between the numbers. Is Ross got anything to say why that would happen?
Well, I wasn't clear on the 2 different devices you were using got different.
No,
speeds
not
on.
2 different devices, this same device, but 2 different sites. Okay.
You measured the speed.
And one came up 700 and the other one came up 400.
So
Fran,
Fran, if the site shows you the location of where it's testing from, that might be different from one test site to a different one, different time.
Okay.
So you need to pay attention to what the city is that it's taking you to.
Okay.
And with your internet provider, they'll have one that they prefer to use, whether it's their own or a particular website, because if you're going to complain to them, they need to have a common device that you're going to compare it against.
Thank you.
David.
Yes. I was, one of the things that I often do when I'm on there is I will bring up Task Manager, and there's a panel in Task Manager that will tell you your internet speeds. It'll either tell you whether you're on a wired connection or a wireless connection, but it shows you how much you're transmitting and how much you're receiving. It's not a capacity test in the sense that it's not stressing it out to see how much you could, but it is telling you how much you are using. So, right now for this set of windows that I'm seeing on my thing, I'm using about 1 megabit per second of download speed. And I'm receiving I'm sending about 1 and I'm receiving about 2 megabits per second. And that's actually a good benchmark to say, okay, if this program needs this much bandwidth and my system, when I do a speed test, says I've got 10 times that, then the slowdown is not due to the network. It could be due to something else. It could be due to how quickly the server on the other side is responding to things. And also, I just wanted to second what Saul was saying. Most of the speed tests, or at least the one that I have, I've got CoxNet, and they have their own one, and you can pick which city you're testing to. And that way, if I want to, I'm in San Diego, I'll test to San Diego, but I could also test to New Jersey and see how quickly it routes across the country. And sometimes those can be quite different just because of the congestion, not between in San Diego, but the congestion on the interstate highway system, so to speak. And so, but I think I always like to have my Task Manager running, and I can look at my Wi-Fi and see how much actually bandwidth I'm using, which is useful. So that was just my little, one of the things that I like to do. Any comments?
A comment or a question about testing your internet speed? Then we can go on to Q&A. Sure is quiet around here. Okay. Will is not here, so I'll referee. I don't guarantee to provide all the A's, but I'll Fran, what would you like to query us?
I have a problem with WinZip, and maybe hopefully Ross can answer us. But something happened, and I checked out WinZip and I didn't buy it, but it keeps popping up. So I Googled how to stop it, and I was successful. And then 10 weeks later, it keeps popping up and says, I'm missing all this. I, buy it. It just, I can't get it off my computer.
Tell us all what WinZip is.
It's an app that is supposed to be like a cleaning app, and it's an updating.
No.
Well, that's what it says. We scanned this whole thing for you, and you need all this.
Okay, so then they're lying to you, because WinZip is only a compression and decompression tool.
That's what I thought. So this is an alternative one.
Well, so they may be selling another set of tools that are going to solve all the problems in the world. You just need to pay them $29 and they'll solve all the problems in the world. I almost would recommend that you go in and look at what programs are installed in your computer. You can find the WinZip and possibly see the other ones that were installed at the same time from them, of the tools that are supposed to say, oh, well, you have this problem and you need to do this update, and you need to do this fix. Most of those are baloney and cause more problems than good. So I would remove.
Well, I never installed WinZip. They just installed, and it doesn't, oh, okay, here. Yeah, here it is. WinZip driver update.
That's okay. That's it. You installed WinZip driver updates. You may not have intended to,
Okay, I'll uninstall that.
You uninstall that. Now, just to be clear, that type of program will say, we will fix all the problems with your printer and your video and your performance and clean things up.
Yep.
And if anything, they cause more problems than good. So all those driver updater programs, I would remove from your system. Restart and be careful when you go to install. They do come along with, it could be that there was a check mark if you happen to install WinZip or something else. Should have been a check mark there that says we're going to also install this free add-on for you.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that it's not so free because after a period of time they'll want money.
Oh, yeah.
So coach
That's bad.
Ross on how to coach us all on how to install something like this that we didn't really want.
Well, first of all, you have to be careful when you're installing something that you know what it is. And I would Google for reviews of whatever the program is that you think you need to install and see what the reviews are on that. If it says it's clean, it's not a problem, then usually you can go ahead and download that and run that. If you end up with something that's in your computer that you don't want, then you need to go to the control panel and programs and features, and you can organize all the files, all the programs that are in your computer by name or by the date they were installed. So if everything worked fine up until June 20th, you go down and look at, say, on June 20th, what did I install? Oh, here are these 6 things. Again, you can take those names and Google for those names and say, what those things are. Now, if things are running funny in your computer, I always start with the Malwarebytes free version of the program. And that will get rid of most of the junk and the adware that's there. Now, the ones that are the driver programs, they're not bad. They're aggravating, but they're not bad programs. So Malwarebytes won't remove a lot of those. You have to look at that list and see what the list is that's there and then remove those down there.
How do you remove them?
You go to the control panel. So you go down to the search box on the Windows and then type in control panel, 2 words. And then when that pops up, then you go down to programs and features. And then it will list all the programs that have been installed on your computer. And then again, you can organize those. They're usually organized by name, but you may not recognize the name. But if you go down and then say by a particular date, you say it was working up until the 1st of June, whatever it was, then you go down and say, well, what got installed after that? And then you can click on that and it gives you the option to uninstall it.
Thank you. That was most clear. Anybody have any questions of Ross on that particular?
Okay, Ross, one question. Yeah, one of the things that I've heard people sometimes recommend is if you're installing something and you're not sure about it, make a system restore point before you do it so you can roll back. Have you tried that?
So on system restore, yes, it is a very powerful tool and I like using it. What you have to make sure of, and you need to Google for it, is in Windows 10, Microsoft has decided that they don't want you to use it. They turn it off. So if you have to find out how to turn it on. Now, once it's on, automatically it should do a system restore point when it sees you're installing updates or installing a new program. Now, to go in there manually to system restore, again, you go to the control, go to the search box and type in their system restore, and it should come up and give you the options to say, well, you can open up the panel. You want to create one? Do you want to turn it on? What do you want to do? And you can create a system restore point at that point. Then if things are not working well, you can then go into system restore and put the computer back the way it was. It's a very powerful tool.
Thank you, Ross.
Sure.
Okay.
Sal, you're up.
So I just want to mention one thing before I get to the reason I raised my hand, which is WinZip, as Ross said, is a application to allow you to compress or decompress files in zip format. Sometimes you'll download something and it's a zip file format. You need to unzip it. Any modern operating system has a built-in unzipper. You don't need to install anything to do that. Only if you want to compress files to zip them and send them to somebody, you might need a utility to do that. And if you do, there are free ones that you don't need to pay for, like 7-zip. And so just keep that in mind. Just because something comes up on a screen while you're browsing through the internet, you don't necessarily want to pay attention and say, yes, I need to install that.
WinZip also gives you the capability of uncompressing other types of compressed files. So that's why I install it. But as a normal user, do you need to usually have WinZip? Generally not. As Saul mentioned, you can go in and if you right click a file, it should give you the option to extract and then say, this is where I want to extract it. Quite often also, even if it's a compressed file, if you trust that particular place you got it from, you can double click that file and it should uncompress and run the installer. If it's another type of file, say documents, then yep, you need to uncompress it, extract it, and then you should be able to access those files.
So the reason I raised my hand was just with regard to the presentation that Hank did. Just as a general rule, whenever you're sharing a screen on Zoom with sound, the sound that the participants hear is based on the sound that the person sharing the screen has on their computer. So always maximize the sound in YouTube, and as well as maybe your own volume control in your operating system to maximize it for the rest of the participants. The other thing is there's often a lower gray box that still shows up that I don't know if Hank is aware of, that blocks part of the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the closed
Okay.
stuff that goes on.
Yeah, you can turn off your closed captions. You don't have to look at it, even if it's on for other people.
Let's see, where do you do that?
Where it says live transcript, there's a up arrow to the right of it as the host. And in there will be one to say hide subtitles.
Oh yeah, here it is. It's in more. Yep, I can hide mine. Okay, thanks. I'll try to remember that. Although all the things you very helpful people tell me, they don't always stick. So it's okay if you gently remind me that I've screwed up again.
Sometimes they change also when we didn't want them to. It used to work this way, now it works that way.
Yeah, I think as another general good rule of thumb on doing sharing screens is just put it up and ask people before you run the video, can you see everything?
Yeah. Yep.
Good idea. Good idea.
Okay, Barbara, you're up.
Yes. Okay. I've had a rough couple of days regarding my electronics. Number one, my telephone, when I try to send messages, I have an Android. When I try to send messages now, it will not allow me to type the message. I have to handwrite it. And I have been through every control there, and I can't find a way of getting back to being able to just type the letters. Anyone got any suggestions?
So I understand what you're saying, and somehow you have enabled that feature. And
Yeah.
how to turn it off, I don't know. I would have you call 611 on your phone, talk to technical support, and because you have a very specific question, they should have a very specific, easy answer to go here, go into this menu, click there, and it should change it back to you. Usually on the screen when you are have a writing, it should show a miniature keyboard on there. And
No.
sometimes you need to go over and click on that re-enables the keyboard versus the handwriting.
Yeah,
I have not experienced that, so I can't say this is how you do it. But that's
Okay.
what I would do. I would call 611 and say,
611?
how do I?
okay, thanks, Ross. I will do that.
I might suggest you look at the accessibility, the handicap area in settings for that function. That's probably where it is in the accessibility area of settings.
Okay, I've been through settings. I don't recall
Okay.
seeing that the option, but I will double check. But I'll try 611 first and see what happens. Okay, my other problem is I lost internet connection on my computer that I use all the time. So I plugged it in. Oh, okay. I checked on my secondary computer, which I'm using now, and the internet was working fine. So I know it's coming to the house okay. So I took the other computer and I plugged it in directly to the internet, and it comes up, but it's not consistent. It's on and off all the time. And I'm not quite sure just what to do.
Your wire connection is intermittent?
Yes,
How long is the wire? And it's going straight from the back of the computer to the modem?
correct. It's probably 6 feet. Yeah, probably about 6 feet.
That's anything less than 300 feet should be just fine.
I guess that
Um,
should work. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
How
I'm
about a
wondering,
different cable?
Yeah, separate cable, restart your computer if you haven't.
I have.
Reload the software for the network card.
also make sure that it's not also trying to connect through Wi-Fi. And because if it's trying to connect in two different ways, it may say, oh, I got a Wi-Fi signal, and it disconnects the other one, and oh, my Wi-Fi signal went away, and it reconnects, and it will look flaky then.
Okay. Okay, I'll try those. Thank you very much.
Patricia,
Pat, you're muted.
Yep, I got it. Okay, thank you. I was gonna tell Barbara, if worst comes to worst, you can take your phone into your provider. If you're Verizon, you can walk in and they fix everything for you in about 5 minutes.
I hesitate to have people go into the stores, because when they go into the stores, their job is to sell you something.
Mhm.
That's true.
When you call 611, the person's job is to help you. Now, sometimes it is a little harder because they have to negotiate with you to say, open this screen up, click this button, and they can't see your device. But again, I've had too many people go in and they'll come back and they say, well, they told me I needed a new phone.
Yeah.
only cost me $870.
Okay.
No. Well, that never happened to me. Usually they ask you what you want, and and they'll help you right there. You don't have to wait for anybody. Usually the person checking you in it's usually an easy thing. So, but anyway, my question was though, this is a very strange question, but it's got to do with email. And I was wondering, how you get a chain of email, and I'm on the Apple, so I'm using their mail server, but you get a chain of email, but you want to forward, and you don't want to forward the whole chain. And I thought if you just clicked on the one part that just was the part you wanted to forward. But before I did that, I checked it out and sent it to myself, and it sent the whole thing. So do you know,
Yeah, let me tell you what I do, because I do a lot of forwarding, and I'm forwarding things that may have been forwarded by 6 different people, one after the other.
Right.
They thought it was so cute or so funny or so whatever. So what I do is I click the button that says forward, and then I scroll down to what they have me forwarding, and highlight most of it and push the delete button. And whatever I have highlighted doesn't get forwarded. Does that help?
Yeah, I could try that. So no, I'm a little confused about which one. So you highlight the one you want to send out.
Hold on, let me.
Or you highlight
share
the
let me share a screen and show everybody.
Okay.
I think this is maybe.
This is part one of the question, by the way.
Okay. All right, I'm going back and I'm sharing. Here we go. Now, let me go over to my email, okay? So let's see. Let's see if I can find something that's been forwarded to me. Yeah, here's one. Forward our flight schedule. Okay. So if I click this email, come on, email, where are you? Here we are. Oh, too bad. No, all right, well, this doesn't have as much as I thought it was, but at any rate, if I go to forward this email, I've clicked forward. Here is an outgoing message here, and I can forward this to, for example, the seniors computer group, all 68 addresses. And now I go down and I start scrolling down through what I'm forwarding. And maybe, for example, I don't want to forward who this came from. So
Yeah.
now I'm highlighting that portion of this message. I've highlighted it. I'm now typing the delete key. And here, wait a minute, I need to highlight some more there and type the delete key again. And now when I forward this, when I click send, which I'm not going to do to all the poor 67 members of the seniors computer group. But if I did click send, what I am sending is only what is left of this forwarded message.
So in summary, Pat, basically before you hit send, edit the message that you're sending so it contains just what you want.
Yeah.
No, okay. And so then the original, I mean, you just deleted it, but I want the original too. So
Yeah, you don't mess with the original when you do that. When you click on forward, it brings up a copy of that original email, and you can edit, add, remove anything that you want in that original email. The original copy is still there, but it brings up that email and lets you do any edits in there that you want.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, very well said, Ross.
Okay, and I think you answered the second part of the question too. Okay, great, thank you.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat. Fran, you're up.
Just a quick response. Both of your suggestions were great. The slower test was in Montreal, which is quite a distance from me, so that explained that. And I logged off and restarted and no WinZip. Thank you for this computer group. I love you.
Okay.
You only have to post that in 3 newspapers, and everybody who reads those newspapers should sign up for the seniors computer group.
Yeah.
30 morning meeting.
Yeah, and forward that to your entire address book.
Yep. Stanley, you're up.
I was just going to say about the forwarding of one message in a conversation. In Gmail, it seems to be pretty straightforward. Patricia, were you using Gmail? It may have something.
No, she was on Apple with Apple Mail.
Okay, well, then I won't try to explain how to do it in Gmail. That was.
It should be the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
I was using Hotmail.
I think the thing that Ross said, which is that once you click on that little button that says forward, you have put in an outgoing message from you, you have put the original message that you're forwarding, and you can edit that any way you want. If you remember that principle, I think it'll solve most of your problems.
Okay, because
Did I
it's kind of
interrupt you?
curious, because I always take out who I got the email from. That's
Mhm.
printed it. Maybe somebody can answer. This has been a question I've always had. It's in blue. It's in the blueprint. And so I usually take that out before I forward stuff, but I never thought you could take out the whole body of something. So
Oh, yeah.
And you can delete anything and everything out of it. Not that I've ever had this happen to me, but sometimes I send an email to the wrong person and it bounces back and says, you can't be delivered to that address. And I go back up and I forward and go, oh, that's right. It's to this person, not that person. Or I've got a typo. You can erase where it says forward, go up there and change the address that you're sending it to, and then resend it. So the person who's receiving it does not see it as a forward. They see it as a brand new email. Anything it's there is editable.
okay, good.
Dan,
Okay, I found the button. I had several things I wanted to say. One is when Hank was showing that email, he had a list of people to send it to. And one of the people on the list was Webb Prescott. I wondered about Webb, whether he's still around or not. But anyway, it seems to be an email list may be out of date. All right, the other thing I wanted to say was I got a couple of emails this week from Norton, which was a bill, which I never subscribed to Norton, and it was a renew for Norton, so I just ignored it. But you can think about that when if you see any of those bills.
So on any of those coming in, and I see the same things from customers and saying, I thought we didn't subscribe to this. I thought we used X versus Y. If you look at who the email was from,
yeah,
it may say Norton, but it doesn't say Norton.com. It says some other name. And that's generally a good indication that it's not from Norton. I see them from McAfee. I see them from all kinds of different things saying, here's your last chance to subscribe, last chance to send us money. Don't do it.
Well, it said to renew, but I just ignored it anyway, so I didn't dig into it very deeply.
You should unsubscribe to that in Google and AOL. I think most of the providers, when you use that services unsubscribe, blocking the email as junk, they start keeping a tally and say, okay, we've gotten 1,000 emails rejected from people. We're not going to let that come in our front door anymore. Now, it's not a huge thing. The guys just go and get another email address and use that to send, but it slows things down a little bit for a while.
Okay, the third thing I wanted to say is I have a junk email account at outlook.com, which I use on this computer sometimes because I don't want to use my own. I tried to sign on it today, and I got a message that said, you've tried to sign on too many times with the wrong password. So you either have to change your password or talk to us or whatever. But it was interesting that they're watching and someone is trying to hack into my account, I guess. This doesn't have anything in it anyway, but.
Well, so my wife and I had a question about that a long time ago. And what it turned out, it was through her eBay account. They were wanting to use her eBay account and she didn't have any financing set up with it and go, well, what difference does it make? The problem is that they will use your account to do bad. So that's how a lot of these Norton accounts and the Viagra accounts, as far as the emails, they just hijack somebody else's account. You should find out with any of the internet providers if they offer a second factor way if you are logging in on a computer. That way they can monitor. So if you are in the United States when you are logging in and now you're trying to log in from China, they go, wait a minute, we're not going to let that happen until you provide that second factor. With Google, I use my cell phone. And they say, oh, okay, you're signing in from somebody else's computer, and they will send me an email to my cell phone, and then I respond to it. Or they will send me a text message to the cell phone, and I respond to it. It adds us another way for them to verify that it is actually me trying to get on your account. And that's not 100%. But it really goes a long way of blocking people from breaking into your accounts by having what's called a two-factor or second factor identification.
I do use that on important accounts, but I don't use it for my general email account.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but again, your email account can be used to do bad.
Yeah, it's your reputation that's at stake.
Well,
Yes.
it's a tool that can be misused, email. So trying to secure it, I understand what you're saying is you don't really care if somebody else uses it, but you don't want your account to be used to do bad to somebody else.
Well, I've run into that with a previous worker that I just got an email from him. I got 2 emails from him that said, basically, I need your help. And when I responded to one of them, they asked for money. But I have no other way to get in contact with him. But like you say, somebody's got a hold of his email distribution list. And I don't know how many people they're sending this message to. And asking them all for help.
It's not as popular or doesn't seem to be happening as much as it used to. The reason is because that's why they're asking you now to have longer and more complex passwords. So it is harder for the people who are trying to steal accounts to get them. And the second factor makes it even that much harder to do.
Well, the
Dan,
account there.
are you kind of done, Dan?
Excuse me?
Are you kind of done? You've got your hand up still.
Well,
He's still talking.
I'm not quite done, no.
Okay, go ahead.
But you interrupted me and I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
So I guess I'm done.
All right, let me add something to something that Ross said, and I will share my screen again. If you look at, wait a minute. Let's see if I've got this. Yes, here we go. Here is my spam folder in my email. And here is a message from the Home Depot that says, I have won a Makita, let's see, I've
Power drill.
an Makita power drill. That's from Home Depot, right? Well, not exactly. If I actually click on the message, which I'm doing now for the second time, maybe the third time. Here we go. You look at what it says up here, the Home Depot. It's coming from admin at kimtag.modds.jp.net. Believe me, that is not Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yeah.
So always look up here at the incoming from address and look at the details. And if you don't see that, for example, if I set this to hide details, oops, sorry, that hides just the details of the outgoing message. But there are ways in most email programs to show or hide the total address of the person that sent you this email. And if you're not set to show that, go talk to your email provider and ask them how you set it up so you always see the total address of where every message came from.
And I would suggest
Sure.
that you always assume that the email has been faked, not assume that it's true. You need to verify that it's true much more than you need to verify that it's fake, because it's more likely a fake.
The email that I got was a legitimate email from person I'm used to work with.
Right. So again, his email account has been compromised. It's been hacked.
That's
and
correct.
using it. Again, and usually when I would look into what people had on there, and I would ask them what their password was, and it was 6, 7, 8 characters. It was a very simple word, a name, something that was easily hijacked. If you go to 10 characters, uppercase, lowercase, number, and special character, you're much less likely to be hacked.
Barbara.
Yes, a quick comment on that. If you look at the heading on that email, it says Ann Makita, and that's not correct English. It should just be a Makita.
Yep.
So you can kind of get a little clue on that.
That's another.
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, I forgot what else I was going to ask you. Okay, I'll put my hand up again if I remember.
No, you're still on.
Yeah, okay. Well, I said I forgot what my question was going to be. And us old folks are really having trouble today. Okay. Oh, I know what it was. I have a little message for Fran. It's a day late, but a belated happy Canada Day.
Yeah, I wished her that yesterday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I always thought it was interesting and suspicious that that holiday came up so close to July 4th. It's like it was designed that way.
Designed that way.
Yeah.
My
Well,
problem is that my birthday comes right after Father's Day.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Hello,
that's mine.
Patricia.
Well, yeah, just to comment on the July 1st and the July 4th. Well, when you're from Detroit, I guess Fran never heard of this, but we did have a annual cross-border holiday between Windsor and Detroit, which was on the waterfront, which I never ever got to, but might be on my bucket list there to if they ever come back with it. But it's supposed to be quite the thing to see. But what my I have more of a comment because I'm trying to clean up my computer, and the other day I had 900 in my trash on my one email. This is the main email. I had 900 on my trash, and I thought it was from like a couple of weeks. Turns out it was only like 4 days. I had 900 there. And today, this is after I cleaned it up. Today, I've got 180 in my junk that never got to me. So I'm just amazed at how many that's getting blocked. And none of them are ones that I wanted. So I just thought, and then I'm getting another one. Oh, I also got the one about the Makita. I get a lot of free stuff, but I was wondering if anybody had heard of this HOPIN. I was getting 1 or 2 of those a day for the last week. And, but when I look under my junk and my trash both, I'm not seeing it stuff. So I'm just wondering where it disappeared to. Any ideas? Or not that I care. If I never see it again, that's fine.
I have noticed in my Gmail account that the number of spams that I get that had been up to say 15 to 20 a day is now down to 2 or 3. So it seems to me that Gmail has modified, enhanced their spam program so that I don't get those anymore. I try to, if I end up with one of those emails in my inbox that I consider a spam, I go to gmail.com, sign in, and there I will unsubscribe from it, because that lets Google know that this is one that I don't want to get anymore, and it will automatically put it into spam. If I do it in my desktop Outlook takes care of it and puts it into junk, but it doesn't let Google know that's one that I don't want to get, and they won't stop them at their front door. Google won't, from me saying it's spam in Outlook.
In my email system, if I see an email in my regular mail that is obviously spam, and one of the options at the top is to click spam. When I do that, I get a question. Do you want to unsubscribe from this and never get another email from this person again? And I click yes.
I was under the impression you weren't supposed to unsubscribe to things that, you know, they might be questionable, and then you might be telling them that you're really existing, and then they'll find out, maybe not that one, but they'll have a host of others that they can now
Well,
access.
I'm not replying with the word unsubscribe. I think that's the one that they suggest you don't do. You don't just reply to the message and say unsubscribe. This is a system within my email system.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Right,
think
that's a different way to do it, and that is, you're right. So in your email, if you're getting it from a legitimate place, they're supposed to, in the bottom of the email, have a provision for you to unsubscribe. There's a lot of emails systems that will block the group emails if they don't have that feature at the bottom. They say you're a business, you should have a way for the people to unsubscribe. But can that let the people know at the other end that you are a live person? Yeah, you can. But again, if what Hank talked about doing, that's through his provider. He's not directly contacting that email person that emailed you directly. AOL is who is going to unsubscribe him from that and block those emails potentially at their front door.
And it works.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
The one thing that doesn't work, I envy you, Ross. I don't get 15 spam emails a day. I get not 1,500, but at least 100. And
Yeah.
I'm looking for the place on the internet where my email is accidentally posted. It's not in the Seniors Computer Group website because I'm the webmaster for that, and I've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Do you have a Gmail account, Hank?
Yes.
So you might experiment with going into the @gmail.com and adding your AOL account to the place where it says, I want you to get this email for me. And then what that does is it tells Gmail, go get your AOL email and bring it into your Gmail account. It can be into a separate folder, or it can be a separate inbox, or to the same inbox. When you do that, then Gmail comes into play and will look at those emails and say, this is spam or it's not spam. And it can help filter those other ones out that AOL is not catching.
AOL is catching all the spam. I think I have a very high confidence in
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, in their ability to differentiate between the two. The problem is at the source. I'm too damn visible in the world. But that's probably my fault. Okay, I don't see any more hands. Does that mean we're done for this morning?
Tricia
is waving.
One quick question. There used to be a way of select all on your trash thing, but I'm not seeing it. I don't have the thing all out, but isn't there a way that you can just empty the trash, but not the one that's along, your dock, but just so that you can just empty the thing?
Does everybody understand what she's asking? I don't.
Oh, well, I can go from like the top one to the bottom one, but there's over 1,000. So I was thinking.
What are you talking about? Emails?
Yeah, trash emails. I want to trash the whole thing.
So you should be able to right click that folder and say empty.
Oh, okay. All right, let me see.
Or when you it while in that folder, do a Control A for all. And then it should highlight them.
I knew there was some way of doing it. I haven't done it in a long time. Okay, if they say delete, you don't want to delete. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, let me try that. Okay.
If you're in the folder, then when anything that you're asking it to do is regards to that folder. And again, if you're saying Control A to select all, and then you say delete, it will move them to your trash folder. Now, on Windows, and I don't know if in a Mac or not, if I do a Control delete, then it says you want to get rid of these forever, and it just puts them straight into the permanently deleted area, not into my trash folder.
Yeah, when I do that, it gets new mailbox, add to favorite, delete mailbox, which I'm thinking means delete the whole trash thing. Then I wouldn't have a trash box. I just want to delete what's in there. Export mailbox, erase deleted items. I don't know if erase deleted items might work. Okay.
Maybe you can try the
Is
on
that-
your list of emails. Do you have a place to put check marks next to an individual email?
No, no.
If you're in the deleted folder, if you do a Control A, what happens?
That's what I'm trying now here. Let's see. Okay, Control A.
Hopefully that would select them all. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
actually, I just,
Pat, are you on your Mac?
I am.
It would be Command A.
Okay, well, Command and Control. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Different keys.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it. I have a regular, I don't have a Mac keyboard here. So yeah, okay, let me try that one then. Okay, shoot. A. Oh, right, that did it. That did it. Thank you. It's Command, not Control.
So you can buy from eBay stickers to put on your Windows keyboard that will show you the Apple symbols. So you could put the Apple symbols as a sticker onto your keyboard.
Oh, I hand did that. And I also have little marks on my thing here, so. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, everybody, if I don't see more hands up,
Dan has his hand up.
who?
And
The president.
I did not see your hand. Go, Stan.
I put a notice in the chat window just so you can exercise the chat window. A reminder that next week is the Board of Directors meeting. Everybody's welcome, of course. And if you're only interested in Q&A, you're welcome to join us at approximately 11:30 is about when we wrap up the board meeting. And so I hope to see all of you here next week and carry on. That was all. That's all.
And I will add one more plea for anyone who has some subject that they think either they want discussed or they think maybe that other people might want discussed. Please send me an email or call me on the phone or whatever. And yes, Ross, you're up.
So I had a question for Stan. I helped him. He was having trouble with his Pixel 6. Did that get resolved, sir?
Not completely. I still find it very frustrating. I tried to get, actually, I tried to get Google to replace it. And they were talking to me, and I did that bug report that you assisted me in sending, but I never got a real response from them. I have settled down into pestering the AT&T store. There's one or two people in there that seem to be helpful. And it just seems to be pilot error, but the Pixel 6 Pro, I don't know about any of their other models, is just very capable and consequently very complicated. And so I think that's the basis of my problem.
So they mentioned that you
With
might,
the trouble I know.
they mentioned in your emails about taking it to You Break, I Fix. Because they are authorized apparently to, from Google, to work on your phone, and they have the parts that I see now for it. And the other is that I read was that there was a major update from Google in June. So I would have you make sure that you have the latest update on your phone.
All right, well, thank you for the tip on you, iFix thing. They're right in my neighborhood and that's good advice. They're closer than the AT&T store. And I will get over there. Thank you very much, Ross.
All right, everybody. I don't see any more hands. We'll give you another 5 seconds.
Hey, everyone have a
10.
good, happy and healthy 4th of July.
Here, here. Everybody go celebrate.
Okay.
Bye,
sounds good.
all.
I
All
got
right,
my
bye.
flag out.
Yep. Oh, yeah, thanks for the reminder. Okay.